Ladies and gentlemen, the wait is over. We are here. Blues World. I want to thank each and every one of you for giving me a chance and an opportunity to entertain you, because I guarantee you will not regret it. I guarantee this will be the most spectacular, the best, and the most entertaining podcast that you've listened to yet. I guarantee it. Hope everyone's having a good day. It's a lot of news we got to get into. But first off, let me give you a little introduction about myself. My name is Tanner Blue. I'm a communications major from the University of Charlotte, North Carolina. And I thought since being a communications major, I'm working in student radio, I'm working in broadcasting, but I thought, hey, why not hop on the podcast train? Because I see tons and tons of podcasts. I listen to tons of podcasts. I see tons of people doing it. And I thought, you know what? I may be pretty good at that. So here I am, giving it this opportunity. And I guarantee you're going to enjoy it. I guarantee you your ears will thank you later. So kind of a little bit about this podcast. What's it going to be about? Well, I have two simple rules. There will be no politics and there will be no religion. I don't want to mix those two things. It seems to drive people apart, drive people in different ways. So no politics and no religion. If you want to hear about those two things, you're going to have to listen to someone else because it's not going to be here. So what am I going to talk about? Well, I usually talk about sports on my radio show at my school and other columns I write and stuff like that. So it's not going to be so much about sports as I'm used to doing. I want to get out of my comfort zone a little bit. I want to talk about other platforms of entertainment, other types of media, not necessarily about news, just forms of entertainment, other things that people want to talk about, movies, music, things on the internet, anything really, just not as much sports. If there's going to be a big sports event, a big sports topic, I will talk about it, but it's not going to be necessarily focused on sports. So speaking of the internet, we got some really, 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 really devastating news here today. The net neutrality vote. Tons of people I talked to about this didn't even know what this was. That's really disheartening. I was talking to people today and I said, hey, they voted to repeal the net neutrality thing. And they said, what's that? Net neutrality? Are you kidding me? You don't know what net neutrality is? It's one of the biggest, if not the most popular thing to come in the courts this year. So it just really kind of bugged me. It kind of shocked me how many people didn't know about this net neutrality thing. Just people who are constantly on the internet didn't even know about it. And it's affecting the internet. So I just thought more people would know about it. But in case you're listening to this and you don't know what it is, the Obama era ushered in net neutrality, free internet, free access to information, free things like that. Stuff that we need, with all the types of fake news and things like that are out there. It's important that people do their own research and really search their own topics because media outlets can lie to you. It's very important that you do your own research. So that could be coming to an end. The FCC held a vote on this today. The FCC chairman, Ajit Pai, hopefully I pronounced that right. If I didn't, I'm sorry. But a 3-2 vote against net neutrality. So now it's going to end. And if you're asking what that means, how is it going to affect you? How is it going to affect the consumer? I'm going to tell you. Internet service providers, your Spectrums, your Verizons, your AT&Ts, the big companies, they can now make deals and control your connection speed and a website's performance, and basically how fast a stream can be, how fast connection can be. Say for example, you like to watch a lot of Netflix. You're not going to be able to maybe do that and stream it as fast as you want to, because ISPs will be able to control stuff like that. They will be able to control internet speeds. You're going to have to pay more for better performance. And the internet's always been an open market. You have good internet, you have Netflix, you should have no problem streaming things. ISPs now have the ability to slow down things, so you have to pay more for better speeds. It's ridiculous. Let me get some more into it. There's going to be possible bundles for internet service providers. And what that means is, for everyone out there that uses social media, I don't know what percentage that is of the world, but it's a hell of a lot. There's going to be bundles for that. Say you have your social media bundle, and this is just what I think is going to happen, my prediction. This is not 100% legit, so don't take this to the grave. So a social media bundle, for everyone out there that uses Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, all those things, it could possibly be molded into a bundle. So you have to pay a certain amount a month for them. That's what everyone's assuming. So say you've already got your internet, you're paying for that. But on top of that, everything that was free, you got to pay $10 a month for. And it's really unfortunate, because at the end of the day, folks, this just comes down to dollar signs. That's it. That's all it's about. Those giant corporations, they don't like the fact that they can't make money off these free enterprises. Well, guess what? They're going to be able to do that now. They're going to be able to make money off things that we get free access to. And I saw tons of support online. Text your congressman, text your officials, call them, email them, do whatever you can. Do whatever you can in your power to try to repeal this thing. But it just simply did not work, as we lost in a 3-2 vote earlier on this evening. And I got to tell you, folks, it's not looking good. Because like I said, at the end of the day, the FCC doesn't care, man. They just want to make money off you. And it's really unfortunate, because coming here in a few months, we could be looking at a completely new internet. We could be looking at people who can't afford to get free access to information that they previously could get access to. It's just depriving the world of certain things that they should have free access to. And the FCC just doesn't care. It's just about a dollar sign. It's really unfortunate. Services that were once free are no longer free, or they will not be free. But hope is not gone yet. There might be something we can do about it. This has to go through Congress, of course. And also, there are states that are suing the FCC. I can't believe it. States are actually suing the FCC. They don't believe in that. They believe in developers. They believe in innovators. They believe in content creators. They want people to succeed. They want them to innovate. Now, I have a list of some of the states that are suing the FCC. This is not all of them this is all the ones that have been confirmed. There are possibly going to be more coming. So the list goes as follows: California, Delaware, Hawaii, Illinois, Iowa, Kentucky, Maine, Mississippi, New York, North Carolina, Oregon, Vermont, Virginia, Washington, Massachusetts, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island. So those states right there, they're planning on suing the FCC. And also, Netflix, they put out a tweet, showing their disapproval for that. And everyone agrees with them. I think there was over 85% of Americans, something along that, 83 to 85% disagreed with this vote. It's just insane how the FCC could push something like this just because of 3 people in this world. They wanted to repeal net neutrality, but 85%, 80% plus of the U.S. population disagreed with that. And now we could be looking at a completely different internet. But Congress does have the chance to repeal this, to nip it in the bud. So there's plenty of stuff you can do. I'm going to put links in the description of places that you can go, things that you can do, emails, texts, phone calls, anything that you can do to help repeal this, to help fight it, to make sure that the FCC does not repeal net neutrality, because it is dire to our situation. There's just, even starting a channel like this, this is kind of a bad time to be starting a YouTube channel, to be starting some sort of enterprise, because, if it doesn't get repealed, a lot of people, they're not going to be able to afford to listen to podcasts. They're not going to be able to afford to go on social media. To get things that were once free, they will no longer be able to do that. And it's very unfortunate. Some other news here. This is a big news day. You guys are getting lucky. I've got a lot to say. There's a lot going on. Disney has purchased Fox for $52.4 billion. It's a lot of money. In case you're wondering, Disney owns so many. They're one of the top 3 corporations. They own so much. It's just ridiculous. They're trying to monopolize everything. It's crazy. What else can they own? Right now, by owning Fox, some of the big things they'll be getting, some of the channels, they'll be getting FX and National Geographic. They'll also be getting the streaming service Hulu. Tons of people like to stream Hulu. I have Hulu. They now own that. In terms of superheroes, they also get X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and Deadpool. If you're a big superhero guy like me, this is huge. You have the chance for the Marvel Universe to be interacting with X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and Deadpool. This is not good for DC, and we'll get into that later if you're a big DC guy like me. But this is not good for them because Marvel just acquired even more assets. They're going to make more movies. They're going to make more cash. DC has got to step up their game, but this is just something they weren't prepared for. So now Marvel has a chance to interact with these characters. That's going to be something special to see. They also get TV shows like Family Guy and The Simpsons, Avatar, and a little-known movie series called Star Wars. They're getting that as well. The subject I wanted to tackle about that was Family Guy and The Simpsons. A lot of people online were talking about how they're worried maybe about the Family Guy or about The Simpsons and Family Guy. I'm a huge Family Guy fan. I'm a diehard Family Guy fan. I've seen just about every episode of Family Guy. People worried about, are they going to tone it down because it's Disney? They like a wholesome family image. Are they going to tone that down? Are they going to fix The Simpsons? Look, The Simpsons are coming into their 30th season. I don't think there's nothing they can really do. The Simpsons hasn't been in their prime for quite some time now. Family Guy, they have a good episode every now and then, but for the most part, they've been on a downside. There's not much they can do to them. Even if they tweak the characters, their prime is already up. I just don't think they're going to mess with that. Family Guy and The Simpsons are too ingrained to people's minds, of what they see when they watch those television shows. So to me, I don't see the need to worry about that. It'll be fine. There's not much they could do. Star Wars, that's obviously with the new movie coming out this weekend. I'm not a huge Star Wars guy, but to me, that's probably one of the top 2 assets that they get. That franchise is one of the top 3 franchises of all time. Anytime there's a new Star Wars movie coming out, people are going insane. I see people going to restaurants, people going to stores dressed up in costumes because they've just seen the movie or they're going to see the movie. People obsess over Star Wars. So that's a huge asset for Disney. None of these assets are bad, but that's one of the top 2. And also, at the beginning of the year, Disney announced they were going to do a streaming service, some sort of streaming service. Well, now they're going to add even more to their catalog. Like the stuff I listed earlier, they get that, and they're getting all the stuff on Hulu. So I'm curious to see, are they going to make a new streaming service, or are they just going to add it to Hulu? Or are they going to take the stuff from Hulu and put it on their new streaming service? Everyone's trying to rival Netflix. That's the #1 streaming service. It's going to be really interesting to see how they do that, what they charge. I'm sure it's going to be somewhere around $10 a month, but their catalog is just off the charts. I mean, I could definitely see this being a huge competition to Netflix, but that will definitely be interesting to see where that goes. And as I mentioned earlier about DC, let's get into some DC news. Ben Affleck, he's Batman, but for how long? Rumors have been swirling around that Ben Affleck will probably drop his role as Batman. And I got to tell you, I'm disappointed. I want Affleck to stay. I'll get into that in a second. And now some of the rumored people to be taking his spot. Because, well, originally he was supposed to be the director of the new standalone Batman film that's going to come out. He stepped down as that. Now people are talking about he's going to step down as Batman in general. They want to recast him. Some of the rumored guys are Jake Gyllenhaal, Jon Hamm, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. To me, those are pretty solid replacements. You know, I can't complain. Maybe Jake Gyllenhaal will be a little, maybe. But, you know, I like these candidates. Jon Hamm, I think he'd be a damn good choice for Batman. But, you know, if I had to pick someone, it'd have to be someone younger. Because Affleck's already 45. You know, these guys aren't really any younger. In fact, they're probably a little bit older. I know Jeffrey Dean Morgan's in his 50s, I'm pretty sure. You'd have to go with someone younger, someone to help reset the franchise, because there's been reports that DC is trying to reset the animated universe. They don't like what's going on, you know. Obviously, Justice League was a flop, unfortunately. I like the movie, you know. I'm not going to get into that. I've already talked my head off about Justice League, but people insist it was not a good film. I thought it was a solid film, but it flopped in the box office. It didn't do as well as people thought it would, and you know, there's plenty of reasons for that. But some of these replacements, I do like them, but I feel like if you're going to reset the universe, you got to start fresh. You got to start with someone young. You know, you don't want to keep switching Batman around. You know, you want to have someone stick. You want to have a character that's going to drive the Batman films for the next 10 years or so. You want to get someone young, someone just who they just grab your attention. You know, you want to see Batman. You know, and I just don't know if these three guys, how long they would last as Batman. So if it was my opinion, you're going to recast. I do like these names here. Jake Gyllenhaal, Jon Hamm, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I do like them as choices. But if it was my opinion, I would go with someone younger. That way, someone you can stick with, someone you can lead the DC animated universe with. Now, as far as Ben Affleck, I think he's kind of got his chances have been slim. You know, every film he's been in as Batman has pretty much he's been involved with other characters. You know, Batman vs. Superman and Justice League. He's never really had a chance to give his full take on a character. You know, one of the complaints I hear about Ben Affleck and Batman is how it's just Ben Affleck in a bat suit. You know, I disagree. I think he's done a really solid job as playing an older kind of Batman, an older statesman. You know, he's got the gray hair going. You know, he's just kind of got a little bit of a more relaxed personality, except for in Batman vs. Superman, where he was killing people with guns and weapons, which was kind of cool, but, you know, he never really got his chance to shine as Batman. That's why I wanted to see him stick around, and I hope he does. It's not been confirmed yet that he's leaving, but I want to see him stick around. I want at least one opportunity to see Batfleck. You know, I think he can do a good job. You know, if it was me personally, I'd keep him around, but I want to see more of a investigative Batman, you know, from like Batman the Animated Series. I want to see him investigate more. I want to see him, you know, just not be such a side character. I want to see him be Batman, you know. But if it was me, I would keep Ben Affleck around. I think he can offer a lot. I think he's done a good job. I think he's been one of the better Batmans, you know. But like I said, out of those three guys, Gyllenhaal, Hamm, Dean Morgan. I'd probably have to go with John Hamm. But like I said, in my opinion, I'd probably have to go with someone younger. But hopefully they keep Ben Affleck around. You know, it hasn't been confirmed yet, but we shall see. Finally, getting into some music here. Eminem's Revival will be coming out on the 15th of December. And man, oh man, do I have a lot to say about this. First off, me and my friend Jeff, who has a podcast on the channel, Real Talk, everyone should check that out. We're going to be doing a review of that on Wednesday. I know the album has been leaked. I'm just going to wait and download it, and I will give it a few days. I will give it a good listen because, first off, my experiences with Eminem. To me, Eminem is my top 2 rappers of all time. I've respected everything he's done. You know, he's put out some great music. You know, he's a great lyricist. He's one of the best of all time. Like I said, he's in my top 2. His last album, the Marshall Mathers LP2, I thought it was solid enough to end his career. I thought it was like, hey, you know what? If this is it, you know, I'd be okay with that. I thought it was good enough to be his final album. You know, the Marshall Mathers LP2, that name is synonymous with the first one, which was one of the best rap albums of all time. I think he should have ended there. But, you know, everyone knew Eminem was going to come back, unfortunately. Because while the last album wasn't great, I thought it was good enough. But the years go by, you know, the speculation is always there. The rumor mill is always turning with Eminem. His new music, a new album. People are like, when's a new album coming out? You know, what's it going to be called? Who's going to be on it? The track list, this and that. Well, last year he dropped the freestyle campaign speech, and he said this is going to hold us over until the new album came out. I mean, it's been over a year, and we're just finally getting the album. So that was, you know, it was a sign of things to come, you know, campaign speech. If you've seen the cover of the album, it's an American flag. So it's kind of going in that, kind of like the Eminem show direction, I guess. I haven't listened to it yet, but I believe it's going to have a lot of political views. We all know his thoughts on Trump, you know, the cipher, the BET cipher, no matter what you thought about that. But I think it's going to be in that Eminem show range. And that's my favorite Eminem album of all time, the Eminem show. That's definitely my favorite. But getting back to Revival, you know, the track list leaked, or they released it. I wouldn't say it leaked. They released it last week, and it was very, very concerning about the artists that were on there. You know, like I have here, you have some of the artists: Beyonce, Pink, Ed Sheeran, and Alicia Keys, just to name a few. You know, I don't have any problems with those artists, but on an Eminem album, that's who you're featuring. That just, you know, you always got to give albums a listen. You know, don't judge a book by its cover, like they say. But if you look at this track list before you hear the album, like I said, I haven't heard it yet. This is really disappointing. You're telling me I waited 4 years to have an Eminem album, a rapper, a guy who's not known for singing, because there's some rappers, they can sing, you know, they can cross over, they can do these kind of things. But Eminem is not that guy. He's a rapper. He's a lyricist. He's not a singer, no matter how hard he tries. No matter what these songs are going to involve. Like Walk on Water with Beyonce. I gotta be honest, that's probably the top 3 worst Eminem songs I've ever heard. And not because of Beyonce. You know, it's not her fault. It's Eminem's fault. He just, that sound, that, whatever flow he was trying to go with there, it was not good. You know, people online saying that was good. Come on, man. We all know that wasn't good. That's not the Eminem we know. That's not the Eminem we enjoy. That's not the Eminem we want to hear. It's just, I don't know, man. That was just a really disappointing song. And like I said, you got songs with Pink, Ed Sheeran, Alicia Keys. If these songs revolve Eminem singing or doing some type of harmonies or duet with these guys, it's gonna be a huge, huge disappointment. And I'm gonna do a review on it. Me and Jeff were gonna do a review on it here on this channel. But just taking a look at the track list, it's not very good. It's not looking too good. But I'm gonna give it a listen. Obviously, he's one of my favorite artists of all time. I'm gonna give it a listen. I'm gonna do a proper review on it. But like I said, looking at that track list, I just don't know where he's going with this. And another thing about the album title, Revival, this is another one of those albums that starts with the R's, the relapse, recovery, revival. I was hoping for something a little different. I guess this is the trilogy of the R's for Eminem. I don't know, he just has a thing for that, for short album titles that have the name R in them. While those albums have some solid songs on them, they're not great. But I've never been more disappointed for an album release. When Marshall Mathers LP2 came out, I was ecstatic. I just couldn't wait to hear it. It's all I would listen to over and over and over. And while it wasn't his best album, he was rapping. I mean, granted, there was a couple songs he's in there singing. That's nothing new for Eminem to be trying to reach out into that aspect of music, singing. And, he's not the best when it comes to choruses. But sometimes when he sings, it's a little funny, so it gets by. But with this, it just doesn't look good. So we'll see how that happens. Like I said, we'll be doing a review on that. And my expectations for it, like I said, I'm not quite sure how this is going to go. Should this be his last album? If it's a flop commercial, well, I can't say it's going to be a flop commercially because it's Eminem. I mean, he could puke in a bag and people would eat it up. It just sells. He's Eminem. He sells. He's the highest selling rap artist of all time, I'm pretty sure, if not the top artist. And everything he does is going to sell. So it's not going to flop commercially. But critically, reviews and all that, if this flops, it won't be his last album. He's going to have to come back. I can always appreciate an artist trying to step out of the box, do something different. But, looking at the track list, it's just not sure. And if you've already listened to the album, if you're listening to this, you've already downloaded the leak. I'm sure many people have. Don't be afraid to comment. Tell me what you think. And stay tuned on the channel because we're going to do a full-length review on this album, track by track, everything about it, feature by feature. It's going to be good. Everyone should definitely check that out. So, kind of coming to a close here. Guys. Everything we talked about, the net neutrality. It's just really disappointing that the FCC repealed that, but it still has to go through Congress. We'll see what happens with that. Everyone try and do everything they can. Like I said, I'm going to post links in the description on stuff you can do to help repeal that. Any way to help, guys. We got to try and fight this. We got to do whatever we can because it's not good. It's not looking good. It's not good for us. It's not good for the free internet. Freedom of speech. It's just not looking good. We gotta protect the innovators, the content creators, everyone on YouTube. So I will put in the description things you can do about that. Talking about Ben Affleck. Will he come back as Batman? I hope so. It's not looking good. Nothing has been confirmed yet, but we will see where that goes. Talking about Disney buying Fox. That's a huge deal. I mean, they've got tons of content. Like I said, they've got Family Guy, The Simpsons, Star Wars, Avatar, X-Men, Fantastic Four, Deadpool. They've got all these assets. They can't screw this up. They're gonna do so much with this. It's bad for Fox. It's bad to have, I wouldn't say it's a monopoly, but Disney, they certainly have probably more assets than anyone, and they're just gonna crush the competition, man. No matter what you think about Disney, you may love Disney, you may hate Disney. Whatever your thoughts on it, it's going to be huge. So we'll see what happens with that. Streaming service, new films, we'll see. And like I said, the Eminem Revival album, it is out. I'm going to download it. I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to review it. But am I really looking forward to it? No. It's kind of disappointing. Just looking at the track list, I'm not going to say it's going to be terrible. It could be a great album. Who knows? We'll see. But I'm going to look forward to that. We're going to do a review. So you guys should check that out. And guys, that's going to wrap up everything here today. I just kind of want to give you guys a gist of what's going on, what this podcast is about. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. And I hope you tune in next time.